1957 that diffusion of electron can be completely removed from the system if there are certain randomness present in the lattice. So if the lattice is random, instead of purely periodic, instead of completely uniform potential, if the electron is not filling uniform potential throughout the lattice, if there are certain randomness in the system, so Anderson proposed that electron cannot move further. So electronic wave function can actually decay exponentially in a region of space. Okay, so if you have a periodic lattice pattern, so electrons are moving around. So if you switch on disorder or randomness in the system, randomness meaning no uniform potentials. So the potentials are randomly arranged. So this electronic wave function will decay exponentially in certain region of space. That is called localized in volume or localized in length. Okay, so in a particular region of space, so this is the typical cartoon picture. So these are random potential wells, and this electron is moving around this lattice. So due to this randomness, this electronic wave function can get localized at some particular region of space. Okay, so there will be an exponential decay, right? So this is the main proposal. Due to the exponential decay of wave function, so there is no conductivity. Okay, so if the electron is mobile, then there will be conductivity. If there is no mobile electron, there is no conductivity. So a metal which is a conductor can become an insulator because of this randomness. Okay, so this is a very important concept, and it is a subject of many theorists and experimentalists since 1957. There have been several experimental work, prediction, observations, theoretical extension, proposals for this single particle. This is a single particle problem. Single particle meaning non-interacting wave. I mean, it's completely non-interacting. Okay. So the model which describes this physics is this Hubbard model. This is a tight binding model. Probably you are aware of this terminology, but tight binding model. This is electrons, non-interacting electrons moving in periodic lattice. So this term is the kinetic energy term. So you can see that these are all creation annihilation operators of electrons. So this term is your hopping strength. The electron is moving from one side to the next side. So this is the nearest neighbor side. Ci dagger Cj. So you create one electron at ith side by destroying one electron from the j side. So this is a simple hopping kinetic energy term. This is the Hermitian conjugate, just to make the Hamiltonian Hermitian. And this term is the extra term in the Hamiltonian known as the disorder term. Okay, so this W, and there is a number operator sitting here. So depending on the number of electron, so just one electron, so Wi is just a number which is drawn from a random number distribution. So if you remember, Professor Panigrahi was talking about random number distribution in the first half today. So this Wi is a number drawn from a uniformly distributed random number. So you have say random numbers from 0 to 1. Between 0 and 1 you have series of random numbers. So this Wi is sum of them. Okay, so that means if I is the site index, so you have 100 sites, I goes from 1 to 100. In each site, if you start from first site, second site, third site, fourth site, so on. So in between two sites there is no correlation. If the potential of the first site is say W1 and second site is W2, so these are highly uncorrelated. Okay, so you cannot say that if you know W2, you cannot say what is W3. So if you know W3, you cannot say what is W4. They are highly uncorrelated. So that is what is this Wi. So this is a purely random number. So this random disorder is also known as diagonal disorder. And this is the single particle physics because they are non-interacting electrons. Anderson's prediction is that for sufficiently large ratio of W over J, all the single particle states in the system are localized. So what do you mean by single particle state? If it is a single particle problem, it's like your particle in a box, single potential well. You have one particle, you have several such states. But if you have series of such wells, the Kronig-Penney model, I don't know you are with the Kronig-Penney model. So you have several single particle states, right? You have bands and so on. So all these single particle states will be localized. Localized meaning there will be exponential decay of these single particle states. Okay? There will be no spread. If the particles, if the wave state is not localized, then you can have this plane wave solutions. If it is localized, then you have an exponential decay of this single particle state. So it's like exponential tail like this. So this is the prediction of Anderson. If this quantity, this fellow, is very large or larger than certain critical value, then all these single particle states will be localized. Okay. So this is the exponential decay of the wave function, and this leads to the metal to insulator transition. Okay. So is it clear? This is a simple concept. Okay. So this prediction is in 3 dimensions. Okay. So Anderson's prediction was in 3 dimensions. This is a simple cartoon picture where you can see that this is a pure pristine lattice where all these potential depths are uniform. So you can see that this is a uniform potential depth, and the electronic wave function is a plane wave. This is an extended wave function. Okay, so there can have free motion from one end to the other end. There is a plane wave pattern. But the moment you introduce this kind of disorder in the system, you can see that now these bottoms are not uniformly arranged. So there are randomness in this pattern. So here you can see that this wave function, this probability is exponentially decaying. It's not a plane wave solution. Now this is the localized wave function. So this is the key idea behind this Anderson series. Okay. So now, what are the dependence of on dimension of the system? Okay, so Anderson predicted that in 3 dimensions this kind of localization function can happen. It was a great finding at that time in 1950s, and then people immediately started studying about the dependence of on dimensions, how dimension can play a role, because Anderson's prediction was in 3 dimensions. So people started studying about this physics in different dimensions. So what?
Hamilton. Is it not like this random interaction is not like a chemical potential?
Yes, yes.
Huh?
It's a chemical potential. It's a chemical potential which is not uniform.
Okay.
So this Wi is drawn from a uniformly distributed random. It's a box. So in it's very similar to chemical potential mu Ni.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then there's the another imaginary part of it.
Yeah.
The side is minus Wi, it will be like the chemical potential.
Yes. So but only problem. So here now, as if the chemical potential is not uniformly fixed, but it is actually randomly arranged. So is it?
If it were a fixed,
Yeah. So then this problem is simple. This is
that's a Fermi distribution.
yeah. It's a simple energy term which can be ignored from the solution also, because it's a constant energy term. So you can simply ignore from the solution. Okay.
So this randomness is with
Yes.
exponentially decaying.
Yes. Okay. So immediately in the year 1979, these people, Abraham Anderson, Lee Kerr, and Ramakrishnan, this famous Ramakrishnan, T.V. Ramakrishnan of IISc. So they proposed a theory which gave the idea about the dependence of this localization transition on dimension. Okay, so they are famously called as Gang of 4. So I will not go into the details of their calculation. So what they studied, their main prediction was that metal to insulator transition can only occur in 3 dimensions. That Anderson predicted. Metal to insulator transition. So transition, when I mean metal to insulator transition, what does it mean? That means the system goes from metal to insulator after a particular critical W over J. If there is no critical W over J, that means for any finite value of W over J, system goes from metal to insulator, then there is no transition. Okay? Suppose that any finite infinitesimal small W over J leads to a metal to insulator transition, so then this is not called a transition. Okay? So in this 3 dimension, only there is a critical value of W over J, but in 1 and 2 dimension, there is no transition. That means any finite value of W over J makes the system insulated. Okay? That means any finite randomness in the system will lead to the insulator phase. Okay? It will turn metal to insulator. So that means there is no transition. So that was the proposal. So that can be understood from this simple behavior of metal and insulator. So you know that metallic this conductivity goes as L to the power D minus 2, and in the insulator this conductivity goes as L. It goes as exponential minus L. So what they have done, let me explain it in a simpler way. So what they have done is that they have studied these extreme limits of metal and insulator. So this side is insulating, this side is metallic. So you can see that for D equal to 2 and 1, because of this term, for 2D, so this term can maximum become 0. And for 1D, of course, it is below this. Only in case of 3 dimension, so this beta crosses a critical point where it goes from metal to insulator. So only for 3-dimensional case, there is a transition from metal to insulator. For all other case, for any finite value of disorder, will make this system insulated. So that means in 3D there is a transition, and in 1 and 2D there is no transition. Any finite value of disorder will lead to an insulating phase. Okay, so that's it.
How do you define a transition in terms of product parameter or something?
Yeah, so they define this dimensionless quantity beta here, which is d log G by d log L, and this G is dimensionless conductance, which is conductance divided by E square by H square. So from there, they found these two extreme limits, the behavior at the two extreme limits, metallic and insulating limits. So there is an extrapolation. So this is a renormation group calculation. So they try to extrapolate from here to here through this curve. Okay, so these are known. So these two limits are known from here. So this is exponential. This is this d minus 2. So only in this case, when it is 3 minus 2, this is positive. In all other cases, it is below this line. So only in this case, this you can go from metal to insulator. All other cases, you are always in the insulator. Okay. So this is the key finding: phase transition in 3D at a critical disorder. In all other dimensions, 1 and below 3D, there is no transition. Okay. So that was the key finding from the theory of Young. Okay. So immediately in the subsequent year, like it was in 1979, in 1980, there was a proposal by these people, Avery and Andre. So they said that, well, I mean, when the system is truly random, then there is no transition in 1D. But if you consider a quasi-periodic system, neither periodic nor fully random, it's a quasi-periodic system. Quasi-periodic, you understand, right? It's not periodic, not fully random. It's in between that, those two limits. So they said, if you consider a quasi-periodic lattice, and then you allow electron to move in on that lattice, then in 1D and 2D, low dimension, you can have a transition. Transition meaning you can have a critical value of this delta, after which there is a metal to insulator transition. That was the proposal. So what is a quasi-periodic system? Quasi-periodic system meaning, so if you have one periodic lattice here, you superimpose with another periodic lattice. If the periodicity of both these lattices are commensurate, that means if the period wavelength or frequency of this is P, this is Q, if P by Q is a rational number, then the resultant is always a periodic lattice. If P by Q is irrational, then you have a quasi-periodic lattice. That means it is not periodic, because suppose P by Q is a fraction, pi. Okay, so then this is called a quasi-periodic lattice. So they say if you superimpose two lattices, two different periodic lattices, but their periodicities are not, the ratio between the wavelength of this and that is a irrational number, then this is a quasi-periodic lattice. This is not fully random, not periodic. Okay, superposition of two or more incommensurate frequencies. That means, as I said, P by Q is an irrational number. So what is the difference between this model and that model? So this is a deterministic model. So that means you know what is the quasi-periodicity in the lattice, because you have already defined this P and Q. This lattice is created by you, which is not fully random. The other one is fully random. And the only difference between that model and this model, you can see that this was there, this kinetic energy term was there. The W term with Ni is still there, But this W term is now modified with this factor cosine of 2 pi beta. Okay, so previously there was a W which was drawn from this random number, set of random numbers. Now this W, this is just a number, this is a constant, and this is modulated by this cosine 2 pi beta I, and this beta is an irrational number. If this beta is an irrational number, then this entire model explains the physics of a single electron and a quasi-periodic lattice. And this is a typical picture of a quasi-periodic lattice in one dimension. Remember that we are talking about the phase transition in one dimension here. As Anderson suggested that there is no transition, the Gang of Four suggested that there is no transition in 1D. But Aubrey-Andre is saying is that if you consider a quasi-random system, then there can be a transition. You can have a critical point of delta over J, after which the system goes to an insulating phase, metal to insulator transition, unlike the true random case. Okay. So this is the simple picture here. As I mentioned, true disorder is not necessary for localization of eigenfunction in one dimension. This is the prediction of Aubrey-Andre. Single particle localization transition can happen in one dimensional quasi-periodic lattice, and this is the Aubrey-Andre model. To obtain the quasi-periodicity, the typical choice of beta is the ratio of two adjacent Fibonacci numbers. You know Fibonacci numbers, right? 1, then 1, 2, 3, 5, etc. etc. So this Fibonacci numbers, so if you go to very large limit of Fibonacci numbers and you take the ratio of two large Fibonacci numbers, then it will lead to this number. So this is called inverse golden mean. Okay? So this is the beta, which is the ratio between two Fibonacci numbers in the large n limit. Okay? So this is the choice to create this quasi-periodic lattice. And what is the property of this model? These are the interesting property of this self-duality. So what does it mean? This model, if you go to the momentum space from this real space or the lattice space, if you use your Fourier transformation, if you take it to momentum space, then this model will look similar in terms of momentum basis. Okay, so that is why it is called a self-dual model. It has a similar behavior in position space and momentum space. Okay. So, due to this self-duality of this nature, so it has a transition from delocalized or metallic phase to localized insulating phase at a particular value of delta over J equal to 2. At that particular point, as I said, these are the self-dual nature. That means in the momentum space which is localized, in real space it will be delocalized. Okay? And due to this similar nature of this model in both these spaces, these are the interesting property of going from extended or delocalized single particle states to fully localized single particle states. All these states, all these single particle states are extended, that means plane wave, almost plane wave. Then suddenly at this point, this critical value, all of them will be localized. There will be exponential point. Okay? So that is the critical point of transition, extended to localized. Right? So what I have shown here is that this is the delta over J axis, and on this side you have all the states. Okay? So I didn't put any mark, so that means all these states are here. All are extended or delocalized. Then all of a sudden, if you increase disorder strength or this quasi-periodic strength here, then all of them will be localized. So that is the interesting property of this Aubrey-Andre model, which ruled out the possibility of any phase transition as proposed to this, as proposed by Gang of Four. In case of random disorder, there was no transition in 1D, but here in this model, although this is not fully random, but some disorderness is there here, there is a transition at delta by J equal to 2. Is it simple or clear, or it's difficult? Understandable, right? Okay. Now, how to understand this? How to calculate this? So this is a prediction. Yes. So this is a prediction by Aubrey-Andre. Let us try to visualize this. How to see this localization transition? Okay. So how do you see this? We talk about single particle states. So single particle states, for example, you know that in a lattice you have this, suppose this phi i's are this eigenstates of the Hamiltonian, and how to distinguish which are the localized states and which are the extended states. Extended meaning delocalized, extended states. Okay. The diagnostics are this participation ratios, which is called inverse participation ratio, which is defined from the single particle states phi i's. Okay. And this, sorry, phi n's are this eigenstate indices. Okay, suppose you have 100 sites, you have 100 eigenstates to diagonalize the entire Hamiltonian. And this I is the site index because you have 100 sites. In each site, you have certain probability, right? You have certain probability amplitude. So you calculate the inverse participation ratio like this, which gives the degree of localization. So this is very simple. So if you can see this, suppose this is your random lattice, something like this. This is a quasi-periodic, suppose. It has certain quasi-periodicity. And you have a single particle which is distributed throughout the lattice. So that means it has certain probability amplitude like this. Okay. If it is uniform, if it is extended, you have probability distribution like in every site you have certain finite probability. The single particle. All this square of these amplitudes will be 1, right? Sum of all these probabilities. But if it is distributed like this, so these numbers are very small. If you have a very large system like 10,000 sites, so these numbers are very small. If you take 4th power of those numbers and sum them all, this will be very small. This will tend to 0. Isn't it? If air goes to infinity, this number will tend to 0. If it tends to 0, that means your system is extended. That means the particle is distributed everywhere. But in the localized case, so this is your lattice. At some lattice site, you have a large peak. If you take 4th power of this, then this will contribute the maximum, right? And in all other sites, it will be 0. So therefore, this quantity will approach to a large value. So this is a diagnostic to find out whether the state of the system is localized or extended. Okay? So this is called inverse participation ratio. So now you can see here, we have solved this model. This is the Aubrey under Hamiltonian, and this is delta over J. These are eigenstates, energies here. Okay? Energies are plotted like this. This is a band structure, right? If you have seen Cronin-Penny model, you can relate this. This is a band structure, and you can see that there is some color code here, and this color code is for IPR. So that means in the Z-axis, this is Y, this is X, Z-axis. I have given this color code. So this color strength indicates the strength of IPR, the value of IPR. So that means if it is yellow, then this is very large, blue 0. Right? You can see that when delta by J equal to 2, before this, everything is 0. That means all these eigenstates, so they have 0 IPR. That means they are delocalized. Suddenly at 2, they become colorful, right? The color changes from blue to some other color. That means they are finite. So that means there is a delocalization to localization transition. Same thing you can see from this eigenstates. So all these are eigenstates, phi i's, and this is delta. You can see that this IPR on this side is 0, on the other side they are finite. So there is a sharp transition from extended or delocalized states to localized states. Okay, so this is very straightforward and very clean picture here. And just to see this more quantitatively, what you can do is that you can take average of this IPR. So these are all states. So you just sum them all and take the average and make it a single quantity. So this is a single quantity here. Average IPR and average NPR. NPR is just opposite of IPR. So whatever behavior is given by this IPR, NPR gives the opposite. So if this is 0 here, NPR would be finite. If it is finite here, NPR would be 0. So now if you plot the average of these two quantities, so you can see that IPR is 0 here. That means it is delocalized, where this NPR is finite. And suddenly at 2, this becomes finite and this becomes 0. So this is a transition here. It's a clear transition, phase transition from delocalized to localized. Okay? So this is the physics of Aubrey-Andre model. It's a very important, very fundamental physics and very important model. As I mentioned, after Anderson's prediction of localization transition, many experiments have been carried out. But to see the transition in 1D, you cannot rely on condensed matter systems, because condensed matter system is related to electrons and a lattice. Okay? So how to tune this? How to create this quasi-periodic lattice system? Nature is not quasi-periodic. Nature is either periodic or random. So quasi-periodicity can be engineered. Okay, so that can be man-made. So you cannot you cannot play with this condensed matter system. So you cannot play with the water. Suppose the structure of some metal is something, you cannot do anything to that. You can create defects into that, you can melt it, but you cannot tune at your own will. Okay? So how can you create a quasi-periodic lattice? And how can you see this transition in one? So people in 2008, there are two interesting experiments. So one is by using actual random potential in 1D. That is by using spectral patterns. So spectral patterns are very interesting concept. So you shine light on a disorder surface, and then you get a diffraction pattern from there. And using those diffraction patterns, so those diffraction patterns, the light, minimum, maximum, and all these things, they act as electromagnetic fields. This potential atoms, the cold atoms. The atoms cool to nanokelvin degree temperature. So they are actually stored in, they are loaded onto this potential, random potential patterns, and then they see this localization, delocalization condition. So what they have shown here is that, so this is a spectral pattern here. This is a 1D spectral disorder system. You can see here. So they have loaded this Bose-Einstein condensate at the center. Okay. Slowly, when they switch on this disorder spectral pattern and try to release this trap, because these are cold atoms, okay, nanokelvin degree temperature atoms, they are trapped using some laser magnetic field and electric field, and they simply switch off all this potential, the trapping potential. So you can see this is a trapping potential which is holding this atom trap. And suddenly you can see that when this trap is switched off, this atomic cloud, the tendency of this atomic cloud is to spread. Okay, it's a gas cloud, cold gas cloud. So it will spread. If there is no trap, it will automatically spread. Because of this disorderness, you can see that the spreading is exponentially decaying. It's not spreading fast. Okay? So that is the signature of localization. So you can see here, when there is this is the initial time, when there is a nice profile of particles sitting at the center. So this is the population you can see. So here you can see this spreading is exponentially decaying. So there is no free spread here. Same thing in cold atom experiment again. This group, so they use this quasi-periodic lattice. Instead of spectral pattern, they created quasi-periodic optical lattice. So optical lattice is that by superimposing laser lights. So if you superimpose one laser light from here and another laser light from here, so you create an optical lattice. So lattice is a pattern of maxima, minima of light. So these light fields can interact with atoms, and they can act as potential, as if electron is experiencing potentials from ion cores. Okay, so these are very interesting topics. So these are optical lattices. These are artificial lattices. There is no metal here. There is no crystal lattice here. No electron. Atoms cooled to nanokelvin temperature. They are loaded into this optical lattice potential, and they mimic the physics of electrons in periodic potential. So these are called quantum simulation. So you have a quantum lattice model. You cannot model that, you cannot simulate that using conventional condensed matter system. So you create artificial lattice system and you load cold atoms to this and try to play with this potential to see this physics. So they created this lattice. This is a quasi-periodic lattice by superimposing this and this. You can see that two different periodicities, two different lambdas. If you superimpose, then there is a quasi-periodic lattice. You load EC, the cold gas cloud, at the center and try to expand this. Simply, you load it, release all the trap. So this BEC cloud will expand. And here you can see when there is no quasi-periodicity, it's a periodic lattice. okay, without any disorder. You can see this gas cloud or cold atom cloud is freely expanding as time goes on. So if this is time, you can see that this is spreading nicely. But the moment you increase the disorder strength, that means this W, you increase the disorder strength, you can see that at the end there is no spreading of this gas cloud. So that means the gas cloud is trapped. So it's a localized state. Okay, so there is no expansion of the gas cloud. So it's a clear transition from delocalized to localized state by simply increasing this disorder. So this is a
What is the time scale here? Again,
some millisecond. Yeah, it's a very, very fast experiment. So these are the first experiments.
After that, eventually they will expand.
Yeah, of course. After a very long time, they will expand. Yes. Due to collision and other things, they will definitely expand. So this is a very short time experiment, and these time scales are of the order of their hopping. So kinetic energy. So therefore, this is valid. Okay. So another
Can you calculate the viscosity of this expansion?
I have no idea. I think people were trying to calculate, study the fluid dynamic aspect of this, of the EC and all these things. Okay, so maybe probably I'm going slow. So what I'm going to tell is this is another extension of this Anderson localization or this localization transition. So far we have studied that there is a sharp transition from extended to localized phase, but there are some proposals that if you break the self-duality of this Aubrey-Andre model by any means, okay, so Aubrey-Andre model, the self-dual model, if you break the self-duality, that means there is no mapping from position to moment of space, no similarity between these two mappings, then you can see an interesting feature here. The interesting feature is that all state extended to all state localized through a critical region. So critical region meaning part of the states, single particle states, are extended and part of them are localized. Okay? So this is called a critical or intermediate region. So instead of the sharp transition from here to here, there is a region here where this extended and localized states, they remain together. You understand? So you have a bunch of single particle states, some of them are localized, some of them are extended. Okay? This is neither metallic nor insulated. It's partially metallic and partially insulated. Okay? So this is called mobility X. So this energy which separates localized states from the extended states, it is called the mobility H. Okay? And this concept we will see. I mean, if not completely, we will try to understand, but this is just for your understanding. Okay. So when I said that self-duality is broken, so if you can see this model here,
It's also one dimension?
it's one dimension. No, mobility H concept is there in 3 dimensions. That was proposed by Nebel model, even from Anderson's time.
No, this model that you are
Yeah, this one is one dimensional. Yeah, this is Aubrey-Andre model. That is, I'm talking about one dimension only. So I'm saying that in one dimension, you still get this mobility H by simply breaking the self-duality. So if you can allow the next nearest neighbor hopping, then the self-duality of the system will take. Okay. So this was proposed by the group of Shankar Das Verma, who is a very famous condensed quantum physicist in Maryland. So he proposed a model where he considered a bichromatic incommensurate lattice, which is a quasi-periodic lattice, which is not in the tight binding limit. So that means lattice depths are very, very shallow. They are not very deep. That means this particle can hop from one side to next, and also they have the finite probability to hop to the third side. That means hopping from one side, from here to here, this is tight binding, but from here to here can be allowed. From here to here also can be allowed, because the lattice sets are shallow, not very deep. So the potential heights are very small. So that in that sense, the self-duality is broken. If the self-duality is broken, then there is this existence of critical region. So they predicted this theoretically, and this is the model. This is shallow lattice, and here you can see that instead of a sharp transition, if you remember, I showed you a picture like this. On this side, everything was blue. On this side, all others are colorful. But here you can see that this black is actually, this line is bent, it will be tilted. So that means if you stay here and go like this, all these states are extended as a localized and these states are extended. So that means for this particular value of disorder potential, you have a mixture of states. Some of these single particles are extended, some of the single particles are localized. So this is called a critical region. So this region from here to here is a critical region, and you can see the signature of critical region by computing this average participation ratio. So instead of sharp transition like this, falling like this, so you can see a region here where both these quantities are finite. Here. Right? Both IPR is finite and NPR is finite. And here it is localized, this is extended, and this region is critical. So this is the quantification. If it is critical, both are finite, extended, this is 0, localized, this is 0. This is a very simple quantification. So please remember this. So we'll deal with this. Okay. Immediately after this prediction in 2018 or 17, in 18, this same finding was experimentally observed. I'm sorry, this side is not visible, so maybe you can I can just show it here. So again, optical lattice, because optical lattice and cold atoms are a very good quantum simulator to simulate all these condensed matter phenomena, because you cannot create quasi-periodic lattice using condensed matter systems. So only in optical lattices you can create. So what they have done, this is Immanuel Bloch in Germany. So they created an initial state which is like this. This is a quasi-periodic lattice. They created an initial state where electrons or fermions are sitting here, because these are cold atoms. So they have fermionic atoms. So they created a state like 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and they tried to time evolve the state. So it's a unit time evolution, right? So if the state, the system, the disorder is such that the states are localized, then this particle will remain at the initial location. Okay, so there is no overlap of wave functions, they are exponentially localized. There is no overlap of this single particle states. So that means this will remain as it is, the state will remain as it is, and if you count this, compute this quantity n even minus n odd divided by total number of particles, then this quantity will be finite. If it is delocalized, then after certain time evolution, all these wave functions will superimpose with each other. There will be a superposition of states. Then these numbers will be same. So that means this quantity will be 0. So here you can see this experiment. This is the time evolution. This imbalance is plotted here. When this disorder potential is 0, then this quantity is 0. That means there is a superposition of all these single particle states. And as you increase this disorder potential, you can see that imbalance is finite. This is a very important finding. This is the first observation of localization transition using experiment in 1D, and it's a very important paper. Yes. So another quantity which was proposed by Das Sharma, they proposed that if you compute this 8th density fraction, that means you create a particle here and compute this. So what is the probability that this particle will reach the rightmost end? If it is localized, then this cannot reach here, so this quantity is 0. If the system is extended, so this particle can reach here, so that means this is finite. So these are two opposite observables. So if one is 0, other is finite, this is 0, this is finite. In the critical case, both are finite. So this is very nice order parameters. Okay? So directly in the experiment, this quantity cannot be observed. So what they have computed, they detected in their experiment is this mean square displacement. Okay? So what is the spreading displacement distance, the spreading distance of this wave packet? Okay? So they computed this and they found this very beautiful experimental observation here. So you can see this, that this is your imbalance, this is your D, and this is a theory, and here in the experiment you can see this. In the experiment they obtained this mean square displacement, which is E, and imbalance. Imbalance is 0, then it is finite. This side E is 0, and in this region both are finite. Okay, so this is a critical phase, this is extended, this is localized. And what happens if you increase D further, dd further, the disorder strength further? What is the intuition? So this side is localized. If I increase it further, I'll go here. What will happen? It will remain localized because you are increasing the disorder strength. You are making the potential more and more disorder. So that means the particle which is already disorder, it will remain already localized, it will remain localized forever, isn't it? So this is the intuition. So what is the summary so far is? So in one dimension, what we have studied, in one dimension there is no localization condition with true random disorder. That is the proposal from Gang of Four. But Aubrey-Andre said, if you introduce quasi-periodic lattice, then in 1D also we can see a transition at 2, delta by z equal to 2. So that means transition from all state extended to all state localized, that is due to the self-duality of the model. Breaking of self-duality leads to a critical region where both extended and localized states remain finite. Okay? And existence of mobility. So these are the things we studied. After the localization transition, after all states become localized, they remain localized forever. Isn't it? That was the understanding so far. It's a very clear picture, right? If you increase the disorder strength, it will remain localized. Now the question is this the end of story? Because that was well understood, so people tried to even study many-body localization. That means instead of a single electron or weakly interacting, non-interacting electron, people tried to study the role of interaction. They introduced interaction in the system. So there are several studies. It's a very important topic. But everybody assumed that once the states are localized, they remain localized. Because it's a very simple intuition. Intuitively, everybody will think that, okay, disorder is increased, so that means localized states will remain localized. So I am asking this question, is the last statement unique? That means if it is always true, that if the disorder strength increases, system remains localized. So to address this, we proposed a model which is known as dimerized lattice. And this is a very important lattice system, and it is in the context of polymers. So instead of fully periodic lattice, we consider a dimerized lattice. Dimerized lattice meaning you can see here that the electron is having a larger kinetic energy when it hops from here to here, but this potential variable is large. So therefore, this kinetic energy or hopping strength is small. Okay. So these are double wells. Lattice wells. So this is large, this is small, large, small, large, small, and so on. So this is a dimerized lattice. And this lattice was first introduced in the context of polymers. Okay, and I think Nobel Prize have been given for these systems. And people realize its importance in condensed matter. And there's a mistake here. So consists of series of double wells, two different sublattices. Okay, so unit cell is now doubled. Instead of single lattice, you have two lattice unit cell. Hopping is dimerized T1, T2, T1, T2. Instead of TTT, it is now T1, T2, T1, T2. And it is, as I said, it is discussed in the context of polymers. And the Hamiltonian for this is T1, C1 dagger, Ci dagger, Ci in this sublattice, in this unit cell, and one from here to here. So this is for T2. And this model is famously known as Schuh-Schiffer-Heger model or the SSH model. Very, very important model. And here's the interesting property. If you solve the band structure of this single particle dispersion, you can see that when T1 is greater than T2, the system is gapped. Okay, so there is a band gap. When T1 less than T2, that means this configuration, T1 is less than T2, you have a band gap. At some point when T1 equal to T2, there is a gap closing point. Okay, so when you go from T1 greater than T2 to T1 less than T2 through T1 equal to T2, there is a gap closing point. So this is the interesting part of this. And this gap closing part, this gap closing property leads to the study of topological phase transition. I'm not going to go into the details of this topological physics, but interesting aspect of this is that I think you have heard of topological physics. I don't know. I mean, this is a very, very important topic. Quantum Hall effects and so on. So this is the simplest model which exhibits topological phase transition. What is topological here? So this side is trivial. Okay, when this delta is this ratio T2 over T1, when delta equal to 1, that is the tight binding model, right? There is no T1 equal to T2. So before this is a trivial system, this is a gap system. after this, when delta is greater than 1, you can see that there are two states whose energy is 0. So this is called zero energy 8 states. Okay, so these states are zero energy 8 states. So you forget about all these things. So we have a model which is a diagonalized lattice, and what we asked the question, we said, if I introduce a quasi-periodic potential onto this diagonalized lattice, I have this diagonalized lattice which is the SSH model. So I am introducing this Aubrey-Andre type cosine 2 pi beta, okay, type potential, quasi-periodic potential onto this. Right? It's a simple model diagonalized lattice instead of Aubrey-Andre, where there is no dimerization, that means T1 equal to T2 in the previous case. So I introduced this, and then we studied the localization property here. Okay? So what we found, you can see here, when this lambda A equal to lambda B, that means in each side, the quasi-periodic potential strength is same, then you see that there is a critical case. The self-duality is broken, and you expect that there is a region here where both these quantities are finite. That is very trivial. Similarly, here also, when delta greater than 1, you see this region here where both is
the y-axis.
y-axis is NPR and IPR, average NPR, average IPR. So this is actually not visible right. Oh, yeah, it's here. Average IPR and average NPR. So y-axis is that. Okay. So as I mentioned that this is expected because the self-duality is broken in this model, so you would expect a critical region. Now, what happens? As I said, this is not surprising. The moment we introduce this constraint in the system, instead of lambda A equal to lambda B, you consider lambda A minus of lambda B. Okay? Then what happens? When delta is 1.5, again same thing. You expect you are getting some intermediate phase, all states extended to localize to this intermediate or critical region. Now increase this delta. Consider different delta. Go on increasing. Increase. Now you see. Can you see this? The usual expectation was when lambda increases, this quantity will remain 0 all the time because system is localized. But look here, this quantity becomes finite again. Okay? I am increasing lambda. In this particular choice of delta, you see that this quantity is becoming finite again after becoming 0. Everybody would expect that this remains 0 all the time. But there is a finite value here which is appearing after it becomes 0. Right? Finite, 0, finite, 0. So this is very interesting. Two critical regions instead of a single critical. So far people have thought that only one critical region is possible. After that everything becomes localized. Now you see you have two critical regions. This is finite, this is finite. This is finite, this is finite. Right? These are two critical regions. So this is the first time we showed that there are two critical regions instead of one. Okay? So what does it mean? System was extended, critical, then localized, then critical, then localized. So that means after the system becomes localized, it again becomes extended. Some of these states become extended. All states localized, that means disorder is sufficient to make them localized.
What does it mean by having non-biasing IPR and NCR?
Yeah, so that means some of these states are localized, some of the states are extended. So it's a critical region. So that means you have a bunch of single particle states which are fully localized, and a bunch of them are extended. So that is what is happening. So this region, you have some of the states are localized, some of them states are extended. Here everything is localized. Again, it is some of
There
these
are two critical regions.
critical regions. So that is the key finding here. So that means our traditional, conventional understanding was that everything, once the system becomes localized, it remains localized. So blue one will always become 0, it will remain 0, and red one will remain finite. But what we are seeing here that in this intermediate region, in this particular value range of lambda, some of the states are becoming extended. Okay. So this is the re-entrant localization. So if you remember, my title was re-entrant localization condition. We knew about localization condition, delocalization, localization, but here we are showing that relocalization. The system becomes localized, then comes back, then localization. Okay, so this is the first time we predicted this. It was a very interesting concept. So you can see all these signatures from this energy spectrum that I showed here. You can see that this red patch is extended, and this patch you can see here, the red ones are extended. The bright ones are localized. But here you can see this patch again is extended. Some of the states are the middle, they are becoming extended. Okay? So I'll skip. I'll show you the phase diagram. Okay? So what is this phase diagram? This is a uniform case, lambda equal to lambda b equal to lambda.
Has it been experimentally verified or not?
So this is the first recently predicted work, 2021 predictions. So probably I'll come back to proposals and so on. So this is a uniform case. You can see here that is extended to localized condition. If you go like this, so this is your lambda axis. So this is your critical region. But here you can see that if I put everything in the phase diagram, so you can see here that there are certain values of delta. If you go like this, then you hit the critical region twice. Okay? Extended, critical, localized, critical, local.
Can you remind us what is delta?
Delta is T1 by T2, the ratio between two of them. Okay? So this side is topological, this side is trivial, but I will not discuss about that. Only signature which is interesting here is this re-entrant. Is it clear? This re-entrant feature. How much time I have? 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay, so this is the reference where it was published. Now, let me ask this question again. Is this re-entrant behavior unique to this model? Whether, we see this re-entrant only here, or there exists any other interesting re-entrant behavior in some other models, right? So in this context, we consider this simple model. It's a one-dimensional lattice with staggered on-site potential. This chemical potential that we are talking about. So this chemical potential, which is your delta, which is delta here, 0 here, delta here, 0 here, delta here, 0 here, and so on. Okay? So in each alternate site, you have finite chemical, so you are lifting the potential to a certain height, and rest are all remaining finite. Then you superimpose this with a disorder lattice, and you create a quasi-periodic lattice. But you have a factor delta. In the earlier model, you have small delta, T1, T2, you have lambda A, lambda B, several different constraints are there. But this model is very, very deep. You have this Aubrey-Andre model, this one and this one. Only extra term I am adding is just this one. I am just lifting each alternate site by a factor delta. Okay? So now, this is the Aubrey-Andre model plus dimerized local energy. Very simple model, and this has been created in the optical lattice experiment. This has been done. This model has been achieved, but physics has not been studied. Okay? Now you see. Look at the phase diagram. This is even richer. So if you look at the phase diagram, this is your delta, this is lambda. Now if you go like this, you certainly hit two different critical regions. One critical region, one critical region. So you go from here, extended, critical, localized, critical, and so on. But if you go from here, look here. Extended, critical, localized, critical, localized, critical. It's a series of localization transitions, not only one localization, relocalization transition. It's a series of re-entrant localization transitions. So this completely, contradicts the earlier understanding that system remains localized forever if you increase the disorder strength. But here we are showing that system can go through multiple number of times localization, delocalization. Okay? So this is a very simple model, and this can be experimentally observed because it's very simple. I will not go into the details of this order parameter that we use to compute this phase diagram. But experiment, how can we detect it in the experiment? Okay. So in the experiment, we rely on this wave vector dynamics, which is known as quantum walk. today I think Professor Panirai was talking about quantum search algorithm and all these things. So this is the famous concept of quantum walk, where you create a quantum walker on a lattice, then you ask it to walk around the lattice. If it is a classical walker, it will not walk further from the central location where it was located. But if it is a quantum walker, because of superposition principle, quantum mechanical principle, so it will spread fast. It will cover the entire lattice faster than the classical random. Okay? So this is the initial state. You have psi 0, and you have one particle which is located at the center, because we have single particle physics. So you can create one particle here, and this is just a unitary time evolution, psi t, and this is your central wave packet, single packet. So let us try to probe this using this at this point, at this lambda value. So you go from extended to critical, localized, critical, localized, critical, and localized. So how can we see this in the experiment? So we propose this lattice model. As I mentioned, optical lattice experiments are the most suitable quantum simulator to understand the physics in quantum matter. So you create an initial state like this. So how to create this? You create an optical lattice by superimposing all these types of lasers and these are the potentials. So you can see these are deep lattices, shallow lattices, deep lattices. So all these particles are loaded like this because these are deep lattices. And then you selectively remove all these particles and you only keep the central lattice. So that means these lines are individual initial states 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. Something like this. 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. So you have 1D stripes of initial states and then you time evolve. Okay? So if you time evolve this is the quantum walk. You see? If it is extended, if the states are extended, so that means your disorder is such that you are in the extended state, you can see that the walkers are walking, they are spreading fast, they are reaching the boundary. You see, this is the time, they are reaching the boundary very fast. Then when you go to localized states, you see they are not spreading at all. They remain near the central site. Okay, so there is no spreading. No spreading there, no spreading there. But if you go to this critical phase, there is a bimodal distribution. Some of them are spreading fast, some of them are remaining at the center because it is an intermediate phase. Some states are extended, some states are localized. Those who are extended, they are spreading, going to the boundary. Those are localized, they are remaining at the center. So bimodal distribution. Again localized, critical, you see. Some of them are localized, some are spreading. So this can be experimentally seen. Clearly, there are mechanisms, there are state-of-the-art experiments, easily seen. And what we studied further is this root mean square displacement. What is the displacement of this wave packet? This is sigma. Sigma t plotted here. And you can see that if you look at these profiles, extended, then critical, then localized. Because there is no spreading, zero spreading. There is no root mean square spreading. But in the extended and critical, there is a finite spreading. So you can see there is a clear re-entrant localization. Black, red, blue, then orange. Yellow. Okay? Then this, then this, this one. So there is a re-entrant feature here. Okay? Similarly, we compute this survival probability. Survival probability meaning what is the probability that this particle will remain somewhere near the center. So you take a range of lattice sites, 40 sites there, and compute the probability. So what is the probability of this particle to stay near the center? So this also shows a clear re-entrant signature here. Okay, so these can be experimentally accessed. Okay, and I will skip this. And this is the phase. This is the diagram where you can see the signatures in the experiment. So if you plot the survival probability and the root mean square displacement with respect to this delta for a fixed disorder strength, so you can see that this is 0, this is finite. So this path is extended, this is critical, this is localized, critical, localized, critical. Okay? So these are the signatures which can be readily seen in the explored atoms experiment, even in the superconducting circuits also. Okay. So what is the interesting part over here? So the interesting part is that if you look at here, this is metal, this is insulator, this is insulator, this is insulator, and this is semi-metal or semi-insulator. Okay. So this and this, the thickness of this is larger, this is bit narrow, this is further narrow. So that means this is kind of a conductivity regulator. Okay. So if you choose to control the conductivity, it's like this fan regulator. So you can tune this quantity to make the conductivity very large. Then you go to little small conductivity, then 0. Little but like this 1, 2, 3 fan. The first one is the maximum speed, then 0, in between 1 and 2, then little less, then 0, and then further less, and 0, completely 0. So something like that. So this width decides how much conductivity one can expect. Okay. So this can be used in this quantum heat engines and all other things. One can exploit this kind of things. And I will summarize. So we study this localization in quasi-periodic dynamic lattice, and we showed this re-entrant localization time transition for the first time, and further extending this, we showed how multiple re-entrant localization can be seen in a simpler model, which is very, very simple actually. And we propose this experiment based on this quantum law or wave packet dynamics. And further, as I mentioned, one can explore the effect of interaction, electronic interaction, to see how this re-entrant physics can be studied. Okay, so this is done. So these are my co-workers, my students, and some of the colleagues. Yeah, thank you very much. So this is another beautiful picture of our campus. So any questions from the participants? Next slide. Any questions? No questions.
Actually, Anderson's one, you have perfectly periodic lattice.
Yes.
Only the potential is random, right? And in the next one, it is actually the lattice periodicity is changing, but still the weights are fixed, right? So you are now trying to combine both of them. Is that so?
Yes.
And when you do this, when you take that lambda 1, lambda 2, essentially your cosine factors have sort of superposition. From there you are getting the...
Exactly, yeah. So this cosine factors are similar to this operator model. So only I am changing this cosine factors in the two sublattices. Lambda, the strengths are same, lambda is same. Only minus, plus, minus I am changing. I am just changing the weight.
The delta or which you have
Yes.
so I can affect it.
Yes, it's like in chemical.
One doesn't know what is actually happening. So it's an effective potential.
No, no.
But can you try to measure that?
No, it is just, this one is just a, this one. So in every side, I am just saying that this side, every alternate sides are limited by some potential. So if you add, suppose you consider a lattice and then you add another lattice. So this is, okay, so suppose this is a lattice and you superimpose with another lattice like this. Okay. So this lattice will lift it. Like this one, this, so this will be. So that means you are adding an extra potential which will lift every alternate cells. So resultant lattice will be something like this. Yeah, just a constant potential. Yeah, selectively you are lifting in all other.
So essentially your picture is showing all the three terms.
Here? Yes, yes. Yes.
All the three terms are individually shown in the picture. Class delta, so that it will be the usual Anderson.
Here?
No, the last base diagram just shows as a function of delta.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything is localized.
Everything is localized.
Yeah, because delta itself, if you lift it further, if your delta is very large in this lattice, if this delta is very large,
Yeah.
so effectively these lattices will be very deep.
That's what I was interested. What decides that scale of delta? Very.
No, that is controllable. So you can control. This is, as I said, these are optical lattices.
Yeah.
So you simply tune it.
Okay.
So you tune this potential.
No, the difference is about which order. I mean,
Oh, okay. So
this potential difference is about EVs or something.
yeah, this is in terms of this J. So J is the unit of energy here.
Huh.
So these are calculated in terms of equal energy. The h square k square by m. So depending on the mass of these atoms, so you can have this energy scale. So J is the unit of energy. So J equal to 1 in our case. So delta equal to suppose 10 J or 5 J, whatever it is. So 3 J. So this is 3 J, something like this.
So J is the scale.
J is the scale.
Sir, in several slides, the plot of IPR and NPR,
Yes.
it should look like inverse.
Participants. Yes, yes.
They show an inverse of each other. So, if one is,
Large, yeah.
then,
Other one is small, yes.
but that is not the case.
Where?
In the critical region.
In the critical region? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this is called the critical region. So here, if you look at this Aubrey-Andre model, pure Aubrey-Andre model, here, for example, here IPR is 0, then becomes finite, NPR becomes 0. The moment it becomes finite, this becomes 0. This is for this Aubrey-Andre model, which is self-dual. But as I mentioned, that if you break this self-duality by introducing certain other terms, then there will be a region where this quantity, can you see this or it's not visible? So there is a region here where both these quantities are finite. Okay? So this means some of these states are extended and some of these states are localized for this particular value of region. For example, here in this region you can see that these states, these red color states are localized, and if you go above this line, all are extended. So that means in this region, some of these states are localized, some of them are extended.
Sir, why we are taking only exponential decay for localized? We can take any other form of wave.
Yeah. So if it is very sharp, suppose the states are deeply localized, then this exponential tail will be squeezed, so you will get a very sharp exponential. Right? So the picture I showed was something like this, right? Something like this. So this means this is your localization length. So after this length, the wave function has, the particle has 0 probability. But if it is highly localized, so you will have this. So this is your localization. So depending on the desired strength, your localization length will change. Even if, suppose your lattice is something like this. So this is your lattice. And this wave function, the states are confined to this length only. This is localized. In some spaces also. This is also a localized state. Right? If you can find a location after which the probability is 0, then this is called localized state. But in the extended case, you will have finite probability everywhere. You have finite probability everywhere.
Sir,
Okay?
I'm asking why
No, I don't
we are
know.
taking
Sorry?
only exponential form.
Exponential is
It
faster.
can be
Why is it exponential only?
Yeah, but exponential fall is a faster decay, right? So decay is faster here. So that was a calculation from Anderson. So the wave function will decay faster. Okay? So any type of decay may happen. You are saying that suppose delta function type decay. So this may not happen in here. Okay, so delta function is the most ideal case, right? Like your potential well, this square well potential. You don't find it in nature, right? I mean, you will always have certain. For example, if I go back to your quantum mechanics, sorry. So this is your infinite square well potential, right? So these are infinite. So your wave function is something like this, those states. But this is not practical, right? This has to be continuous. But this doesn't happen here. Particle in a box problem, infinite well. This doesn't happen here. This is 0 here. But this is not practical, right? This is not physical. Physically, this wave function has to be continuous. So these are not available in nature. right? So this delta function decay is not also natural. I mean, this is mathematically fine. The Kronig-Penney models. You have series of boxes, but this is the assumption. You have actual electronic potential is this kind of potential, right? Something like this, isn't it? But you assume that like this to study this Kronig-Penney models, isn't it? So this is something like this. Sir, what is question? Sir, अभी पढ़े तो ले पाए.
Finite potential word है.
हाँ.
Inside the web, it is localized. Outside the web, there is an exponential here.
Finite. Yes.
That's the same thing that was.
But if it is infinite potential, then solution will say that it will decay to zero.
Yes, because in the infinite boundary, so
There is no penetration.
But is there any limitation to the number of re-entrant localized, or it is
Yeah.
still here?
No. So in our model, we showed that you can control the number actually up to 4 here. This is something very interesting here. You can see that if you are here, if you go like this, extended critical localized, one localization condition. If you are here, 1, 2. Here, 1, 2, 3. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1 or 2. I mean, we have found only 4 localization conditions.
Is there any possibility that?
No idea. We have to search.
Okay. Any other questions? So if there is no question, thanks to the speaker. Okay, now we have a tea break for 10 minutes, then again we listen to you. Okay, next.
Yes.